Hi guys, how are you? It's Ant here again. Right, today we're going to talk about sound design. Now, what is sound design? Sound design is creating a sense of place for your images, okay? It's creating a sense of place for your audience to believe where they are with sound. Now, a lot of people will say, I don't know how to do sound design. I'm not good with sound. And the number of times I've heard that, the old saying, if I had a dollar for every time I heard, well, it's true. If I had a dollar for every time I'd heard somebody say that, I would be very rich. But it's not the case, okay? It really, really isn't. It's actually a lot of fun, and it's a natural extension of what you've already done with your characters, with your story, and with the scenes that you're creating and the places and the images that you're creating by putting up on the screen there. Okay, it really is a natural extension of that. All right. Now this is just off the top of my head. Well, it's not really. I'd already thought about it before I hit record. But this is off the top of my head. All right. Let's say we have a character called John, and John is a panel beater in a industrial suburb in Melbourne somewhere. All right. Now he's going to go to the pub and meet a mate, and they're going to have a conversation which will maybe go somewhere really nicely or go somewhere really badly. Who knows? Doesn't matter. All I want to do is get an image in your head and work the sounds around that. Okay, so John's looking pretty scruffy. He's looking and he's heading to a pub after work. Now, he's not going to be going to a pub like the Botanical in South Yarra or the Vineyard in St Kilda or any of the cool and happening bars along Chapel Street or Brunswick Street. That's not his vibe, all right? He's probably going to be going to a really divey pub in an industrial suburb. So you start with an establishing shot of said in divey bar, divey pub in an industrial suburb. What are you going to hear? You're going to hear maybe a lot of traffic. You could hear some sirens. You might hear some indescript sort of factory noise, some sort of pounding or metal work or something like that over your establishing shot. And when you go inside, what sort of things are you going to hear? Again, you're not going to hear Fox or Nova on the radio playing in the bar. You're probably going to be hearing something like there's probably going to be a TAB or something close by. So you're probably going to be hearing, coming into the home straight now, this, that, and the other, and so on and so forth. You don't actually have to hear that up front. You can just hear that in the background, and it gives you a hint. All right. If there is any music in there, it's, as I said, it's not going to be Fox or Nova or something like that. It's going to be something, maybe, I don't know, 80s Angels or something like that. That's sort of grungy and bogany or whatever. Okay. You're going to be hearing something that suits the scene. You don't have to see it, but maybe there's a pool game happening up in the side there. So the occasional hint of snooker balls or pool balls hitting each other and things like that. There might be a bit of chat in the bar as well too. It depends on how you set the scene up with your vision. You might have it full of people, or you might have it just with a sparse chatter of things, a sparse chatter of a few people. And that chatter probably isn't going to be, young teens at a concert or something. It's going to be a bunch of blokes sitting around talking about the footy, what they're up to on the weekend, all sorts of things like that. Okay? So you're creating a scene, a sense of place with the sounds that you put in. And it's all entirely possible to do. And you can make something very, very, very realistic. Okay? So it's all just a natural extension of what you've already done with your character, with your story, and with the vision that you're putting up on the screen. Okay, so I hope that kind of gives you a bit of an idea of sort of how to think about things as when you're planning your sounds. All right. Now, what I'd like to do now is I'd like to show you a short film that I mixed a long time ago, actually. I was thinking, when did I mix this? And it was actually about 15 years ago. So, to be honest, it is actually looking a little bit dated, I've got to say. But I am able to give you before and after examples of the sound mix on it. Okay, so a little bit about the film. It's called Crushed. It was made by a guy called Martin Sachs, and if anybody remembers Blue Heelers, he was PJ in Blue Heelers, and I mixed Blue Heelers in the 90s for a couple of years, and we did a short film for him. Okay, so the film's called Crushed. It's about a guy called Daryl, and Daryl his wife and his mother-in-law really don't like him very much, and Daryl is having the day from hell. Okay, he is house sitting while while mother-in-law and daughter go out for the night, and he's looking after mother-in-law's prized little doggy, who she loves more than anything else in the world, and it all goes horribly wrong. Okay, so don't ask why Daryl's wearing ladies' pajamas at this point. It's a very long explanation, and you don't need to know it. But anyway, he is. It's all just part of his day from hell. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to show you the mixed version of a little excerpt from Crushed, and then I'll show you straight out of the edit how it sounded before I did things to it. Okay, so here's I think it goes for about 2 minutes. Here's the mixed version from Crushed.
Oh, God. Please don't do this.
Hey! I'm so sorry. Are you okay?
That dog! Please?
From here I can see.
Damn, but
Yeah,
the game was over.
I know exactly what you mean.
Little mongrel, he just took off.
Okay, Daryl's not having a great day, but for all of those of you who are a little bit worried about the dog, I can tell you that it wasn't the dog that he hit, so it's all good. It's all fine. So the dog lived. It's all fine. All right, I'm going to show you the unmixed version now, and you're going to hear the differences between all the post that I put in, all the post sound that I put in, and then how it sounded just straight out of the edit and what I actually started to work with. Okay, here it comes.
Oh, God. Please don't do this.
Hey!
Stop!
I'm so sorry. Are you
Follow
okay?
that dog! Please? Damn, but
Yeah,
The game was over.
I know exactly what you mean.
Little mongrel. He just took off.
Okay, a few differences there. I hope you picked them up. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you the mixed version again, and I'm going to highlight, as we go through it, the bits and pieces that I put into it to sell the story and to help it along. Okay? Okay, right off the bat here, the first thing we're going to hear is the Atmos in the background, because they weren't there before. Squeak of the gate. And gate again. And there's a bit more rubbish in there than what was actually happening before, to emphasise sort of the comedy moment of it as well too. Yes, obviously the music kicks in.
Oh, God. Please don't do this.
And his dialogue has been lifted up in level, and it's been EQ'd to come through a lot more than it did before. And we're off. Okay, so her car has Peugeot 205 GTI interior and beads rattling. The jump on the brake, the tyres screech, the door open and close.
Are you okay?
And again, the door open and close is from an old car, not nice and clean. So it squeaks and it gives the car character.
Please?
Jump on the accelerator. Thankfully, the tyre screeching was from location, which worked really well.
From here I can see.
And a dog bark in the background to react to the tyres squealing. Car rattling and beads. And the music through the car radio as well too. And obviously the dialogue has been EQ'd and lifted up as well too, so I can hear it clearly.
Took off.
Okay, so the music will start gently fading soon, so it can be more in the moment with her and to emphasise what's coming up. Bang! And that is the interior recording of a Peugeot 205 with a faulty shock absorber driving over a pothole in the road. Okay, so I hope you can hear all the bits and pieces that went into it, and you can see what I did to it to sort of bring it to life and give it a lot of character. Now, speaking of characters, let's talk about the car. All right, the car is its own character altogether. All right, now that car is a 1983 Mark III Cortina, so it's old. It's not going to sound. The interior of the car is not going to sound smooth and like a late model car will when it's driving along. It's going to rattle. It's going to bump. And it's going to make noise and things like that. So you keep that in your head when you're actually putting your sounds in. How does that thing actually sound in the real? How does that thing actually sound in the real world? And what have I got to put in there to sell the story, to sell a character? Okay, so what I actually used for that, because I didn't do much driving in the actual film inside it, what I actually used for that is my little pride and joy, which is a little Peugeot 205, and it's a 1990 model, but it rattles and it clunks in bits and pieces. So I recorded the interior of that and used that as the interior sound for the car while it was travelling. But particularly with her car, there's all those beads and jangly bits and stuff hanging from the rear vision mirror, so all those things needed to be highlighted as well too. And it gives the car the character of being the hippie chick's car. There's going to be all that stuff sitting there, and it's all going to make noise. So all those bits and pieces help the story along, help the character along, both her and the car, and it helps the audience believe what's actually there. Okay, so see, it's fun. Don't be scared of it. Just think of it's the natural extension of what you've already done. All right? Now, the other thing I want to talk to you about is a film called Making Waves, The Art of Cinematic Sound. It is a must-see for you guys, particularly, to see what goes into a film and how passionate and how people create things with the big feature films. It's been out for a while now, and it really is a must-see to see how people actually thought about things and how they actually mixed things and how they approached sound design and mixing. And I really can't emphasize how much you really do need to see this film to give you more of an idea of the sound world and the post-sound world. Okay? Well, that's about it. I hope this has been helpful, and I will talk to you again soon. Cheers.